This is not Yuji's first awakening. We have seen him awaken before and know exactly what this means, but this second awakening will give him the edge to push Sukuna to the absolute brink. However, even with the new power-ups that he will get from this awakening, which I will explain in this video, Itadori Yuji will die for a fourth time in this series. He must die against Sukuna and he will resurrect for a final climactic clash against Sukuna. All of this has already been foreshadowed and set up by GEGE, and what's in store for Yuji is a fate even worse than death, and he is going to regret coming back to life after Sukuna kills him in this battle. This is going to be a crazy theory video, so you're definitely going to want to stick around all the way until the end. Leave a like on the video, it helps out, and subscribe for a ton of GEGE content, and of course thank you to the special grade members of the channel, it's much appreciated. And also a quick word from our sponsor of today's video, Star Trek Fleet Command. It's a Star Trek game that's free to play that millions of people have played. You can explore the vast Star Trek universe in this 4X MMO, Star Trek Fleet Command. And there's quite a lot to this game. You can engage with players around the world in battles, testing your strategic ability, negotiate alliances for greater gain, and harvest the galaxy's resources as you upgrade your fleet of starships. You can recruit legendary characters to crew iconic ships from over 50 years of Star Trek stories and send them on missions of exploration to expand your territory. If you love Star Trek or was a fan of it before, trust me, this game is for you. There's a ton of new missions every month based on the lore of the show, there's new ships every month to collect, and you can even customize your avatars, frames, and a lot of stuff like that. And if you join now, you can start the Star Trek Strange New Worlds event, where you can prepare for battles in the mysterious and treacherous worlds of Strange New Worlds. So if it looks fun to you or if you're interested, I would definitely recommend downloading Star Trek Fleet Command for free in the description using my link, and if you reach level 5 using my link, then you directly support the channel. So you'll be having fun and you'll be supporting me. Again, the link to download it is in the description, and thank you very much to Star Trek Fleet Command for sponsoring this video. This isn't Yuji's first awakening, as I was saying in the intro. We have seen him do this exact awakening before, and it has already been explained in the series in much depth what this awakening will do for Yuji, but it's just people have actually forgotten this, and I don't blame people, because Yuji's first awakening was quite a long while ago. So first, let's actually go over Yuji's current awakening, his second awakening in JJK Chapter 256. The narrator says, unleashing his potential with a single blow, beneath scattering sparks of black, Itadori Yuji awakens. And the editor's comment here says, even the rays of hope shine black, which is awesome. And we get a close-up of Yuji's eyes looking very intense. What's going on here, directly being said by the narrator, is that the black flash has awakened Yuji's inner potential. We've seen characters get a potential buff before during Shibuya, where all three characters who hit a black flash, Mahito, Todo, and Yuji, got a 120% buff, bringing out that percentage of their potential. But that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm actually talking about is in Goodwill. This is exactly what happened right after Yuji hit a black flash for the first time. He says that was black flash, and he looks at his own cursed energy in astonishment. What? This is my cursed energy, right? Right here, Yuji is so shocked by his immense buff in that single moment that he cannot recognize his own cursed energy. He actually is questioning, is this my cursed energy that I've got right here? And Todo proceeds to explain what just happened. You got to taste a sample of your cursed energy. Until now, it's like you've been putting ingredients you're not familiar with into a pot and cooking haphazardly. But with Black Flash, you've gained the ingredient that is cursed energy. As a chef, or in this case, a Jujutsu sorcerer, you're on a different level than you were just 3 seconds ago. Congratulations, Budaza. You will be strong. Todo outright confirming what I just said before, saying Yuji is on a different level than he was just mere 3 seconds ago. Doesn't this look familiar? Hitting a black flash, instantly becoming so strong and awakening your inner potential that you are unrecognizable to even how you were just seconds ago. That is what's happening to Yuji right now, and it's what will happen to him in the next chapter. But exactly how would this translate to the current Yuji? This is usually only the case when you've hit a black flash for the first time. After you've hit a black flash for the first time, what tends to happen after that is you just get the general 120% potential buff during that fight, but nothing more. Normally you don't get a permanent buff after hitting your black flash. Maybe you'll get a minor one, but it's never as big as the first time. So why am I saying that Yuji is about to get a buff as big as his first time, even though that shouldn't be the case? Well, remember, the current Yuji is different from any iteration of Yuji we have seen before. This is the first time, as far as we know, Yuji has hit a black flash while having Sukuna's cursed energy, because if you don't remember, Yuji is currently shrouded in Sukuna's cursed energy. He has got a ton of it, so much so that he is just like a Sukuna finger. That's how much of his cursed energy he's got, and he has blood manipulation. This is something he didn't have before. So remember, Yuji always had cursed energy after he learnt it with Naname and Gojo, but Todo specifically says you've only gained the ingredient that is cursed energy after hitting a black flash. So even though he had cursed energy before, he didn't know how to use it or even have it as an ingredient until he hit a black flash. And it seems like this is currently the case with Sukuna's cursed energy, which he doesn't seem to be using properly, and also blood manipulation, which he can't even use convergence efficiently. So Choso actually has to set it up for him, as we saw in JJK Chapter 256 when he gave him convergence so that Yuji could use a piercing blood. Well, just as Todo was saying, Yuji has just been putting ingredients he's not familiar with in a pot and cooking haphazardly. After hitting this black flash, Yuji will gain those two as ingredients and completely understand them and get a full mastery over them in just mere seconds. And does this sound crazy? Yes, but is this going to be an ass pull or a plot hole? No, because this happened in chapter 49, quite literally, with Yuji Itadori before. So that's what it means when it says Yuji has awakened. Whatever buff he's about to get with Sukuna's cursed energy around him, which may be the flames or Sukuna's curse technique, or even just being able to counter dismantles and such better, whatever that is in regards to Sukuna, and also his own blood manipulation, which should shoot through the absolute roof in terms of how strong it's going to be now that he's hit a black flash. That is what I think it means by Yuji has awakened. It has already been laid out to us before in the story, it has already been explained, and we are just witnessing it for a second time. Now I've said all this, yet the title and thumbnail of the video is that Yuji will die against Sukuna. Am I saying that Yuji's about to get his ass kicked even though he just got his awakened potential? No. I do believe that Yuji is going to go on an absolute rampage against Sukuna right here, right now, and truly push him to the absolute brink. However, do remember that Sukuna is not using his full power. He has still not gone all out, and this has actually already been said by Uraume and Gojo and Kusakabe, and also by us, because logically we know we have not seen him use the flames in Shibuya or whatever this open is. He is clearly holding back for whatever reason. You can say it's for this reason or that reason, but we know for a fact, and it has been said multiple times by multiple characters, not even including our own logic of what we saw in Shibuya, that Sukuna is holding back quite a lot. And the Viz actually poorly translates it as Sukuna's not going seriously, when the actual translation, at least from what I've heard and what the TCB gives, and also apparently what's closer to what's being said in the Japanese, is that Sukuna is not using his full power, or Sukuna-sama has yet to go all out, which is what was said in TCB. And this is more in line with what we know, because those two things can be true. You can be going serious, but you can also not be using your full power, because Sukuna may be worried that if he goes all out and uses his full power, the fight would just end way too quickly and it wouldn't be fun. So he's holding back his full power, which we know for a fact, but he's still going serious with what he's holding back, just maybe to get a better and more enjoyable fight. This would actually go in line of what we got from the narrator before, saying Sukuna was actually desperate against Yuta. It's still a bit iffy how both of those things can be true, but I'm just trying my best to make it work and not have GEGE contradict himself, because it is a bit weird, but I do think if you look at the proper translations, it does make some sense. And I just want to remind you, for those who think this is going to be an ass pull or something that came out of nowhere, this is what Gojo said to Geto. Geto asks, so how was the King of Curses? Gojo responds, man, he was crazy strong. Plus, Sukuna didn't even go all out. And Kusakabe says, what's creepy is that Sukuna isn't using his fire in Shibuya, reminding us that for some reason, he's not using his flames. Kusakabe theorizes maybe there's a condition or a binding vow, but he doesn't even know, and it's better not to think about it, because if Sukuna were to use it, it would be game over, they would all lose, which is perfectly in line with what I was saying before, how the reason he's not using it is probably just because he wants to make these fights last as long as possible and not just end it in one go. So that actually lines up with that narrative theory that I have, because there has to be a reason that Sukuna's holding back. We just don't know what the reason is, but we know for a fact he's holding back, because again, Gojo says, but Sukuna wasn't able to give it his all, and for that I'm sorry. It's very possible and more likely than not that this is actually in reference to Sukuna's transformation, but the thing is, it was never said that this is what Gojo was thinking about or this is what he was referring to. That's just what we assumed at the time after we saw him transform, but the fact that we're still getting statements even after he transformed from Kusakabe and Uraume that he's still holding back, it does lead me to believe that there's much more to what Gojo was thinking about than just the transformation. It seems like Gojo, very likely due to his 6 eyes, was aware that Sukuna had a lot held back that he wasn't using to actually beat him in the fight. And of course we have Uraume's own statement, Sukuna-sama has yet to go all out, or in some of the translations, use his full power, not including the Viz's poorly translated, he's not going serious. It's for this reason that I believe that Yuji, who just got his second awakening, will be the one to push Sukuna finally to use his full power to actually defeat him. And again, it does depend on where Yuji scales. We have no idea where he's going to scale. For all we know, next chapter, his blood manipulation is going to be godlike. He could be hitting black flashes like it's crazy. His soul ability could have gone way stronger. Maybe he pulls out the anti-gravity from his mother. Maybe he pulls out cleave and dismantle slashes. Maybe he pulls out a domain, or who even knows, perhaps the flames is what he pulls out. Or it could be none of those, you know. But it has to be something, since the narrator's saying Yuji just awakened, and it would be the worst clickbait of all time, almost as bad as the Sendai 3-way domain expansion if GEGE goes nowhere with that awakened narrative. But the point being, how strong is Yuji going to be? If he's going to be monstrously powerful, I do believe he's going to be giving Sukuna quite a beating, and in the short term, you'll think, oh, this video that Kyle just posted, the video you're watching now, aged pretty poorly, because Sukuna's currently getting his ass beat. There's no way he's gonna kill Yuji. But I do believe deep into the fight, Sukuna's gonna start thinking, yep, it's time I stop holding back. Maybe this brat is the real deal, and finally, we may get Sukuna to call Yuji Yuji out by his full name, not just Brat or Itadori or something like that, or just call him out in a mocking way. His full name with full respect, Itadori Yuji, which he has only done for a handful of characters in the series that he truly has much respect for. That would be quite awesome because Sukuna even now thinks Yuji is boring. I mean, Yuji's been doing all of this to him, been using blood manipulation, soul attacks, and reverse curse technique, and just got his reinforcement buffed, and we saw Sukuna sense, just like Mahito, that Yuji was about to fire off a black flash, and his face was just one of boredom. He didn't care at all. It looks like, again, I can't confirm, I'm just saying from his expression, and maybe you disagree because this is just what I'm interpreting from his face, but it really looks like he doesn't care at all. Whereas if you see him when he's fighting Maki, every time he's got a massive grin, a menacing smile, shouting on the top of his lungs, "You forced a roll upon me, wow, you're amazing," this, that, and the other. I mean, he's done it 3 separate fights with Maki. Hopefully he finally gets to do that with Yuji, and when he does, and he pulls out whatever he's been holding back, which should be his black box, his open, and he pulls out the flames and whatever else is in there. I mean, he could have a slew of curse techniques hidden in there. We don't know what his black box is. Some people think it's a storage curse technique, that's what I'm banking on. Some people think it's a creation curse technique. Some people think he's accessing curse techniques from the cursed realm. There's so many theories around that, but regardless, the point being, once he uses his full power, I do believe he's going to kill Yuji and end him right then and there. But I do believe Yuji will resurrect and come back. However, I have already made a whole different video dedicated on that, so if you want to check that out, I'll have that linked in the description. So I'm not going to go over that now, but you can imagine that's like a sequel to this video, even though that video was made quite a long time ago. TLDR, it involves Ino summoning back his soul from the afterlife, which we've seen. Ino has a similar curse technique to the Granny, which is a summoning curse technique. The Granny can summon back the body and the soul information from the afterlife. Ino has a summoning curse technique. Maybe he figured out how to do it over the time skip. It is a long theory that will need at least 10 to 15 minutes to explain. It sounds insane and unbelievable abridged, but with proper evidence, it does make a lot more sense in the video. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. Like I said in the beginning, less than 10% of people who actually watch my videos are subscribed, so if you love JJK, I assure you, you won't regret subscribing. And of course, thank you to all the channel members as well. It is always much appreciated, but that's all from me. Have a great day and take care.